Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. This is Kamara Yellis. This is the Finance Rebel Show. Again, I'm Kamara Yellis, the Finance Rebel. Today is Saturday, and our Saturday segment of the Finance Rebel Show is always wealthy conversations. Today, the big topic is more black banks and the $30 billion commitment from JP Morgan. But as we always do, we're going to check in. We're going to talk about what's going on in the market over this last week. And before I get into that, because I'm looking, my homegirl, my home biz tax lady, shout out to her, follow her on YouTube. Remember to file your taxes. October 15th, 10/15/2020 is the tax deadline, right? So remember, it is not an extension to file. Let me back up. So for everybody who filed an extension, you have to file your taxes by October 15th, all right? So don't mess around. You got about 5 more days to get it in. Hopefully you're already in process. Remember, the filing of the extension is not an extension to pay. It's only an extension to file. So get your taxes in, get them done, and make sure you stay out of the way of Uncle Sam so he don't have to come down and bang on you. All right. So as we get through this, I'm going to talk about the market rundown. I do want to talk about one thing I saw out here in these social media guru streets, where all of a sudden these people that are proclaimed social media people give out bad advice. All right, but we'll get to that later on. So again, the main topic of today is new black banks and the $30 billion commitment from JP Morgan. So today, stock market, S&P 500, up 3,477. So again, 3,477. That's what it closed the week out at. So year to date, the S&P 500 is at 7.63%. All right, so that's higher than last week. A lot higher, about 3%, almost 4% higher. Oil is up $40.52. So oil closed at $40.52 on Friday, as a close of Friday. So oil's still down year to date at a negative 28%. But if you remember from last week, right, hopefully y'all paying attention from week to week, right, oil's up. And it's funny, we saw some reports out of OPEC saying that they expect oil to kind of begin to gain and get more traction. But then we're seeing some of the big bank analysts say that they still don't see any real big demand push for oil as we get to later in the year and into 2021. So I'm not sure. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of traction with oil, but as states start to open up, as travel starts to get back online, as people start to drive around a little bit more, you will see some things, but I still think a lot of people are afraid and terrified of catching COVID. All right. Gold is up 1936, closed at $1,936 on the week, and gold is up year to date 25%. So it was down a little bit last Saturday when we talked about this, but now it's back up. So we're seeing a lot of different things happening in the markets. It was actually a very, very busy week this week in the markets. Saw some earnings. We saw some things going on. IBM is talking about doing an IPO of their cloud-based computing. That's going to be worth about do about 19 billion in revenue from the start. So that's an IPO that is planning to come out in 2021. As y'all know, I am not a fan of IPOs. Basically, the first day. If you really like it, wait, watch it, see what happens. However, IBM is an established company, so I do give the IBM IPO a little bit more favorability because they've been in business for a long time. And I don't think we'll see some of the same shenanigans from an established company like an IBM versus some of these other companies that are brand new, fresh out the box, and that are not profitable. All right, so just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So again, good morning, everybody. I see Don Johnson is checking in. Hey, Don, how you doing? Appreciate you. You're always here. Katisa, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. The IG folks are in the building as well. All right, so I'm gonna get this one thing off real quick. I'm saying what's up to my IG folks as well. Empress Signs, good morning. Home Biz Tax Lady, good morning. Nick Realtor Man, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Home biz tax lady. Now, normally I don't take questions on Saturday a lot, but I'm going to do this question midstream. How do you get into the S&P 500? So the easiest way to get into the S&P 500 is to buy an ETF. Everybody knows I like ETFs. ETF stands for exchange traded funds. Again, exchange traded funds. They're basically just a basket of securities, and the S&P 500 is just basically a list of the 500 largest stocks in the United States. And you can buy an ETF. These are not recommendations. This is not investment advice, but you can buy ETFs like the SPY, which is the oldest ETF to exist. You can look at, I want to say VOO at Vanguard. They both track the S&P 500. Vanguard's funds are pretty cheap. But anything that's tracking the index normally is pretty cheap. So that's the way you can do it if you want to get into it and start investing in the S&P 500. And the allure or the benefit of investing in S&P 500 ETF is you get basically whatever the market's going to yield. So like I said, the S&P 500 is up 6.3% year to date. Your ETF will be up approximately, it's not going to be percentage per percentage, but approximately 7.63% if you were to invest in an ETF. All right. So hi, B Barbie 2. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Creation by Naisha. Welcome. The Boss Moms Coach. Welcome. Boss Mom Coach, are you new? Dayon TC. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Empress, I'm going to ignore that comment because you always trying to start smoke with me, and I'm not here for it this morning. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to let you detract me. But I do appreciate you being here. Robin Atwell, hello, hello. Corey, what's up, Corey? Part of the Black Wealth Project family. Tune in tomorrow, 7 p.m. Every week we do the Black Wealth Project at 7 p.m. on Sundays. Tomorrow's topic is going to be, why are Black people in love with their labor? I believe that's the topic. Miss McDowell, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Talton, Trey Hall, how are you? VOO, yep, you love yours. Okay, so you are a owner. Ownership is key. If you are serious about the wealth game, ownership is key. All right, so as we move into the main topic for today, remember the topics today are new Black banks and Jamie Dimon's or JP Morgan's $30 billion commitment to underserved communities, Black and Latinx communities. $30 billion, y'all. All right, so Killer Mike, Andrew Young, and Ryan Glover are teaming up to create a digital bank. So here's a report that was all over the place earlier this week. I thought it was really, really interesting. We don't have enough Black banks. We need more Black banks. There's only about 23. This would make 24. I want to say number 24. It's either number 24 or number 25 in terms of Black banks in the United States. So we need more. But I love this because we have the old school G, Andrew Young. If you don't know who Andrew Young is, please look him up. Please get in touch with your history, your Black history, not just here in the United States, but throughout the diaspora. All right, but Andrew Young has been putting in work for decades. Very crucial in the civil rights, in the civil rights era, did a lot of work, former mayor of Atlanta, and now is teaming up with Michael Render or Killer Mike. I'm a big hip hop fan, so I be knowing all the folks, right? Who is one half of Run the Jewels, and Ryan Glover, who started Bounce TV. And so they are creating a digital bank. Now, I think it's great. They got a $3 million. They got $3 million in funding for seed capital for their bank. Many of us don't realize just how hard it is to run banks now. Running a bank is really, really hard for a lot of reasons, right? One reason being that most of us already have banking relationships. Well, us that are bankable, because there is a big unbankable population, especially in the Black community, basically people who cannot obtain bank accounts for whatever reason. All right. But many of us don't like to transfer. We don't want to move. People in general do not like change. So it's hard to really get a lot of traction in banking. But Killer Mike has been pushing the Black bank movement agenda for quite some time now. I would like to consider myself part of that Black bank movement as well. I've done plenty of things to help support the local Black bank here in Philadelphia, United Bank of Philadelphia. So I think it's important that we fund and support our own banks. But this new bank is going to be called Greenwood Bank in honor of Tulsa, in honor of Black Wall Street. Now, Black Wall Street, which was in Tulsa in the Greenwood section of Tulsa, Oklahoma, was named that when Booker T. Washington visited that place and deemed it Black Wall Street because there were so many Black folks in there doing business. Now, like I said, 3 million in capital. They're going to raise it. But the article here that said they're going to be the first digital Black-owned bank. And for what I understand, the largest Black-owned bank, which is United One, is already digital. So I will say this. I'm definitely in full support of Greenwood Bank, but I will say this. I hope, and I don't want to come to conclusions, but I hope that maybe they reached out to United One Bank, which has over $1 billion in deposits, and try to see if they can work with them. Because as it's great to get more Black banks, we also need bigger Black banks, and any energy we can put together and create synergies is always a great thing. So, a lot of times we like to do our own thing. And again, I'm not trying to cast any aspersions. I just want to talk to the bigger issue. We like to do our own thing. And it'd have been great to see all of them combine forces and join up with United One, which is already established, which already has $1 billion in deposits to get even more, help them to get $2 billion or $3 billion or $5 billion so they can do even more lending and banking in the community. But nonetheless, this is still great. This is still awesome. All right. What do y'all think about having a new Black bank? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's a waste of time? Should we just stay at traditional PWI banks? What do you all think? Please chime in and tell me what your thoughts are. So, again, like I said, I think it's awesome. One of the main reasons why we need more Black banks, because we need higher access to capital. And banks typically have way more access to capital than any other business. Why? Because they become a part of the Federal Reserve System. Now, I know a lot of us like to poo-poo the Federal Reserve, and we like to come with all the conspiracy theory things. But listen, the Federal Reserve, when used properly and strategically for our community, can be a great, mighty thing. But again, one more step in progress. I'm hopeful to see that they're able to do a lot more things. All right. So moving right along to the next point in our main topic, right? Because again, JP Morgan earlier this week pledged to put in $30 billion into underserved communities, Black and Latinx communities, to help, again, bridge the wealth gap. Because, again, we all know it's well publicized and there's all different kinds of studies. But typically, your average white family has about $144,000 in net worth, while your average Black family has about $11,000 in net worth. What do y'all think about that? Do you believe that? Do you think it's real? Or do you think it's a hoax? I believe it. I don't know how accurate it is, as all these studies have different metrics. But I definitely believe it. I definitely think it's an issue. You can see it when we're dealing with everyday life. So, I think this is another good thing. But I want to make this very, very clear. JP Morgan paid out about $55 million a few years ago in a racial lawsuit because they were treating the Black advisors and minority advisors worse than their white counterparts, right? So it seems like they're trying to pay back their debt to society, pay back their debt to the Black community by now pledging $30 billion. Now, listen, anytime a company pledges to do something, best believe it comes with strings attached. Best believe there's profit motive. Do they want to do good? I think so. Jamie Dimon tends to be a bit progressive, air quotes, right? But I don't know. I don't know how much is actually profit driven versus how much is being altruistic or being for the Black community. I'll just say that. But let's just go through it, right? So again, JP Morgan unveils 30 billion push to bridge racial wealth gap. Again, we all see that. It's apparent in everyday life and so many things. All right. So they broke down where the money's going, right? So they're divvying up $8 billion for 40,000 loans in underserved Black and Latinx communities. All right, so here it is. And then they have about 14 billion to finance 100,000 affordable rental units. I was looking at that a little side-eyed, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And then they have another $2 billion for lending to small businesses and opening up branches and, again, quote unquote, underserved communities that are in Chicago, Los Angeles, and Detroit. I'm sure there'll probably be some more, which typically is not JP Morgan or Chase Bank's MO. They tend to be in more affluent areas. Typically, many of the urban or underserved community areas are not the typical model for JP Morgan. So I'm wondering also, because I did see a push for Chase to expand, at least here in the Philadelphia area, and they closed down. Now they're kind of coming back. Again, I don't know, but it seems like they didn't do too well. But I also didn't see a true marketing and promotions commitment from them when they did come in. So now they're trying to come into quote unquote underserved areas. I just wonder how real that is, how true the commitment is. And, again, Jamie Dimon is very outspoken, and he feels that, and he said it publicly that, in the United States, racial issues have been an issue. Racial issues continue to be an issue, and it's time for us to address them. So I appreciate him saying that. I am a big believer that, yes, Black folks must know the history, and we must fight to make change on our own. But if the country and the citizens of this country are really, really real about this, they'll start speaking out, and they'll start making commentary and contributions to this. So we've seen Netflix pledge over 100 million to, wait a minute, let me back up. We saw Reed Hastings pledge a bunch of money to HBCUs, several millions. We've seen Netflix, the CEO, who was Reed Hastings of Netflix, pledge $100 billion to Black banks in terms of deposits and cash, because, again, Black banks have roughly about $5 billion in deposits amongst the 23/24 Black banks across the country. So that's not a lot. And when you juxtapose that or compare that to what Black folks spend every year, roughly 1.3 trillion, that's really a drop in the bucket. All right, but tell me what y'all think. What do you think about the JP Morgan move? What do you think about Killer Mike, Andrew Young, and Mr. Glover opening up a new Black bank called Greenwood as an initiative to go further digital? So you tell me what you think. And I'm going to check in with folks real quick. Garrett, how you doing, sir? How you been? Christine Apple, how you doing? Jack the First Three, how you doing? Yes, indeed, stay on message. Yes, I got a message for you. Don't worry, Empress. I want to talk about something real quick. Has anyone else lost sound, or is it just me? I think it's just you. Yeah, Norman said he can hear. Leo Lady, you get your stuff? All right, Home Biz Tax Lady, you said I signed up. You signed up to what? I think more truly Black banks are better than less. Yeah, but here's the thing: as we split the pie and we split the dollars, it takes away our power, our buying power, our purchasing power, our lending power, our investment power. So Home Biz Tax Lady says, I believe that we need to support our own banks. Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. Leo Lady says, my uncle had an AA bank, African American bank. K Landers 251, welcome. Happy Saturday. Harris, how you doing? All right, Empress. That's not going to happen, but you keep it there if you want. I'm not even going to acknowledge that one. Remember, no doc loans targeted minorities. Yes, no doc loans targeted minorities. We actually still have a form of redlining in place. So yes, that is true. When Black folks start to withdraw their money from the economy, folks want to get some act right in them. But I don't think we've actually withdrawn our money in the economy, though. But I do agree. Remember, a loan is usury. What is affordable rental units? Typically, again, air quotes, affordable rental units tends to be low income housing. Back in the day, we call it projects. Today, it's a little bit more. It's a little better, in my opinion. Leo Lady says, WF, I'm assuming you're saying Wells Fargo also opened up credit accounts without the authors. Yes, and they had to pay a hefty fine for that. Yes, they did. Yes, definitely. Let's get those black banks open so our black communities can have more access to funding. Yeah, but we don't fund the banks that we have already. Okay, Empress, you're on your rant again about Goldman Sachs. I see you. Oh, you signed up for Greenwood Bank. Okay, cool. Lysandra, yeah, we'll have to talk about that a little bit deeper. So again, I don't have a problem with black banks, right? Obviously, but that's a bad analogy. I was going to give a bad analogy. But here's the thing. Yes, we need more black banks. We also need more black deposits. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's not a nuance. It's not a black and white thing. It's a nuance thing. So if we're not depositing in these banks the way we should, because someone in the comments over on YouTube said, but most black banks are not good. Now, I push back against that, and I'm not going to do that, but playing devil's advocate, I have heard a lot of reports about black banks not being good. However, I do believe that black banks are so essential to black wealth growth that we have to continue to work with our banks. So we have to figure out ways to do it. I don't care if you open up $1,000 in an account, and then that way they now have to listen to you. So there is a big gap between totally withdrawing and not participating and being a vocal voice. Many times we're not a vocal voice. And by the way, none of these nationally owned PWI banks are good banks. None of them. If you do a Google search on all of them in terms of their lawsuits that they filed over the last, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years, you will see they all bend over and take craps on the black community time and time again. Now, maybe a change is coming, like Sam Cooke said, but I ain't buying it. Not just yet. Again, I do appreciate the gesture. Hopefully it will come to fruition and do really good. But what I would have liked to have seen is, and I don't know the board makeup of JP Morgan, but I also would have liked to have seen JP Morgan say, well, hey, we're also going to increase our diversity efforts. Now, they did say that, right? Just to be clear. Jamie Dimon also went forward to say that he's also kind of finding his top level executives for not doing a better job at diversity. But we all know the terms diversity, the terms affirmative action can all be very, very tricky terms. The biggest benefactor of affirmative action is not black folks. It's not Latin or Latinx or Hispanic people. It's white women. It's documented. It can be proven. They're facts. So again, sometimes we get up in this, in these, these terms, and then we get lost, literally and figuratively. One of the reasons I really don't like the term POC, and y'all might think I'm on a rant. I'm not on a rant or off on a tangent. I don't like the term POCs because, again, POC gets lumped into everybody. And listen, I love all my African people. But when we talk about POC, a lot of times it's everybody, and they never specifically address black issues to the people in the black community. And so you had to be very, very careful when you're talking about that. Also, I'll say this. A lot of this is still our fault. And what I mean by that is we haven't figured a way to create unifying forces, unifying organizations to present our own agenda. We don't even have our own agenda as it relates to black wealth. And you have all these other subgroups that have their agendas, but none of them all are mass adopted. So we need to be able to come up with a mass adopted agenda and say, listen, this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. If you're not here for it, we ain't here for you, period. We get, and that's part of the reason why major corporations, again, disrespect us with their ads and with their policies. So, but what I also would have liked to have seen is JP Morgan talk about their board Now, I'm going to look on their board to see if there's any diversity. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have no problem saying I'm wrong. All right. But, people don't realize that the board actually runs the company, not the CEO. Now, I see one fly in a bowl of milk, and I'm happy this fly's there. And she is someone who I actually, I'm a fan of, because to me, every time I see her speak about our issues, she's always on the right side. Can anybody guess who it is? So before I show it, right, I've been telling y'all I'm gonna do some more contests. So I'm going to give a Finance Rebel t-shirt to the first person who can guess is on the board. Who can guess the first Black person that is on the board of directors for JP Morgan. So I'll give y'all 5 seconds, and no Googling, y'all, no cheating. It's the honor system. So as we wait on that, I'm going to just check in with my folks. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing? Remember, I'm waiting for y'all to tell me who is the first Black, or not the first, I shouldn't say the first. I don't know who the first is, but who is the Black representative on the JP Morgan board? So Robin said they need digital wallets. They can compete with Square. Yeah, they can compete with Square, but I don't know if their culture and their infrastructure is for that. I mean, a couple of years ago, Jamie Dimon basically poo-pooed crypto. I know they have basically did an about face on that. He's done an about face because he sees blockchain, not just crypto, but blockchain as being a very powerful force in that. What's the new bank name? The new bank name is Greenwood Bank. Leo Lady, you can't win twice. You just won the last contest. Leo Lady, you on it. All right, so the next person, I'm sorry, Leo Lady, to do this to you. Leo Lady, did you get your stuff? You didn't tell me. So Leo Lady got it, y'all. I'm waiting for somebody else. Leo Lady won the last contest. She got a sweatshirt, a Finance Rebel sweatshirt. I sent it to her. You should have it. So I might have to give it to you. All right, let's see. All right, so NC Realtor Norman said Hobbs. So he's talking about Melody Hobbs. I didn't see anybody in my Wayne said the Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart actually is doing an initiative with JP Morgan for financial literacy. So good one. I mean, that's not too far off, but yeah. So North Carolina Realtor Norm, NC Norm, who I think we first discovered each other on the Blackwell Project. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. So you won. So let's go through it real quick. So this is the board. All right. So we have Linda Banham, Stephen Burke, Todd Combs, Jason Crown, James Dimon, Timothy Flynn, Melody Hobson, who is, for all of you who do not know who Melody Hobson is, she is the co-CEO of Ariel Investments. Ariel Investments, started by John Rogers. One of my heroes, is an investment guru and tycoon, Black investment guru, tycoon, mutual fund starter out of Chicago. And he actually started a school that teaches Black children about investing as well. So again, Michael Neal, Lee Raymond, and Virginia Romney. All right. And then we have some opening committees, but they're just to be on an opening committee is not necessarily on the board. So they have one person of color, one Black person on the board. Out of, did anybody catch the count? So we got 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. So we got 10. So we got 1 out of 10. So we have 10% representation. And Jamie Dimon, technically, I wouldn't count him because he is the CEO, and I believe he's also the chairman as well. Is he the chairman as well? Yes, he's the chairman. So I would take him out just for argument's sake. So we have, again, roughly 1%. Can we get 2? Can we get at least the parity of what the United States, what the Black population in the United States is? So the Black population in the United States is about 14%. So I know it might take it to 20%, but listen, if you are real about racial inclusion, racial diversity, addressing Black issues, you need better representation. Period. Period. All right. So, I mean, that's my take on it. What do y'all think? And I'm going to the comments again. What's up, Don? I think we won't have a brick and mortar. One United has a brick and mortar. Where does One United have a brick and mortar? I thought they were mainly online. Can anybody tell me? All right, we got that one. Virgo Life. Of course, it's necessary. We do need more access to capital. Absolutely. Corey says banks are being pivoted towards crypto. I just hope they get in front and not on the back foot. Yeah, I believe it, but I think it's too top heavy. Kaizen Investor. How you doing, Kaizen? People are still talking about the interview I did on your platform. Do me a favor, everybody. Everybody go follow Kaizen Investor on YouTube. That's my homegirl right there. She greets us every morning. She says, "Hola, my gente, mi gente." So she is one of our diasporians checking in, but always bringing positive vibes. Always bringing positive vibes. So I appreciate you, Kaizen Investor. All right, Tiffany says, "I'm wanting to get out of Wells Fargo, but not sure where to go, and I do want to do Black banks." Yeah, it's a tricky situation, right? Because a lot of times when I'm advising my clients, I do want to go to Black banks, but I can't find many that are reputable. And usually I'll only recommend something that I actually tried. So I just found out doing my research that United One has business accounts. I didn't think they had business accounts, but they have business accounts. So I'm going to open up a business account there and test it out and see how it's going So I'll report back on that. Virgo Life says credit unions. Credit unions are good, but sometimes when you're trying to withdraw money, it's hard, especially with their networks, depending on where they are. I mean, it's definitely doable. I do think, for the record, we need some more Black-owned credit unions or Black-run credit unions. True, we're building together, but one step at a time. Yes, absolutely. One step at a time. Hey, Judy. Yes, we need to change the trajectory. Getting tongue-tied today, y'all. Let me take a sip of water real quick. So I still got a couple more things I want to talk about with y'all real quick. Judy, how did you do yesterday in your competition? So Judy has a mobile pop-up spa for men, y'all. So she's trying to make sure the brothers take care of themselves, get their feet rubbed on. When a lady won't rub on their feet, but just promote that message of men taking better care of themselves, because typically men, we don't take as much care of ourselves or as good of care of ourselves as the sisters do. And she's trying to level that playing field. So I have a credit union and Navy Federal. I love Navy Federal. Navy Federal is probably my favorite credit union. It's important to address the challenges so that we can fix them. Absolutely. Absolutely. If Black banks want Black businesses, they have to court Black people, not just support us because we are Black. I agree with that, Virgo Life. You get no pushback on me from that. Rachel tired. Oh, Rachel tired as hell. Come on, Rachel. Smile. Turn that smile upside down. Get some energy in you. BOA is terrible, and Black and Latinx still use it. Yes, I concur. I had a very interesting experience at BOA years ago. I sold a piece of property, got a nice size check. I went there to cash it. They wouldn't cash my check. And then they tried to push me into opening a bank account. Was not happy with them at all. So Wayne says, no, Jay-Z's not on the board of JP Morgan. He probably wouldn't fit on the board of JP Morgan either. Talton says told Urban is a Black credit union. Okay, I gotta look it up. Somebody looked it up for me. All right, Don, you're right. You're right, because she's not a fly. You're right. But some of these old school sayings are still resonant in our minds. But I'm all for pushing forward and being challenged in that ways. All right, Judy, you are in first place. But yes, Don, you are correct. So what's the better way of saying that, y'all? Y'all tell me the better way of saying that. Family Fam represents. All right, so listen. Since, like I said, since Leo Lady won the last one, North Carolina Norman is winning the shirt today. So I'm going to give you the link that you can go to the site and you can look at all the merch I have, and you tell me what piece you want. Empress, you stay dogging black folks, Empress. I find that very interesting. You stay dogging black folks, but you say for black folks. Yeah, United One has a lot of good things. All right, B Barbie 2 says I started following you because of Kaizen. All right. Thank you. Hopefully I'm not disappointing. They are pretty decent. I understand they are funded by PW banks, predominantly white banks. Kay Landers, are you talking about United One? Are you talking about United One? Let's see. Oh, you're okay, NC Norman. So you're Marvin a nurse. So you're a nurse and a realtor, Marvin? Either way, welcome to the family. You being brought in with big hugs. Big hugs. To Lee Do Urban? What is that, Corey? Is that the credit union? All right, I'll definitely check it out. All right, thank you, Leo Lady. Leo Lady says she's cool with not winning. Everyone can get a turn. Okay, so Kay Lander says they're PW. Yeah, a lot of black banks get PW funding. Sadly, because right, and this is a community conversation. Sadly, because we are not funding our banks, y'all. You know, I'm not going to blame the victim here, but listen, the victim also always has to play a role in their liberation. Always. Or else you're just a victim and you never become a victor. So yeah, becoming a victim is real, right? I don't want to play the semantics game where victim mentality or whatever. Like if somebody runs up on you, smacks you upside your head, pulls a gun out on you and robs you, you were a victim. And that's okay, right? The question is, are you able to come back, right? Pull yourself up. I'm not going to use the term because Don's on me today, as he should be. But are you able to come back and rejuvenate yourself and get back to your better self or your previous self and get better, right? So, again, I don't know the time frame on that. I don't know when it's supposed to happen, but we always had to play a role in our own liberation, in our own freedom. If I'm the victim, if I'm the oppressed, we always had to play that role. We always had to be solution minded. So even if we are a victim or have been victimized. So that is my thought on that. All right. So Don says United One has about 5 locations. One is on Crenshaw Boulevard. Ryan Thaddeus Suka, hope I said that right. Found this channel a couple months ago. Here for the financial information. Stayed for the Jay-Z lyrics. Love for Maz Kamara. Yeah, I stayed dropping Jay-Z bars. I love Jay-Z. Many people give Jay-Z a bad rep because he doesn't move the way they think he should move, right? But to me, that's a form of groupthink. If anybody watched last week's show, I actually talked about groupthink, right? It doesn't serve any of us to be a disciple of groupthink, because if you're a disciple of groupthink, you can never actually help the group, right? And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't come together and decide on things together. But just going along and get along and say, hey, I like chicken, you should like chicken too. No. What if they like shrimp? What if they like beef? What if they like, tofu? Tofu isn't that good for you though. Actually, I guess technically none of the meats are really good for you. But y'all get my point. Just to go along and get along doesn't work. We all have to be independent. And then through our independence, we have to work on being intra-dependent. All right. So we can work together, so we can find solutions together, so we can find common bonds. I think banking is one of them. So everybody go support a black bank as much as possible. Again, you have to do what's best for you. And I want to say, Virgo life, even though he's bringing up the hard stuff, right? You got to find a bank that works towards you, right? I am all for buying black. Matter of fact, shout out to Comedic Knowledge. This is a black sweatsuit I just got from Comedic Knowledge, a black-owned company, a black-owned apparel company. But it has to fit also within your lifestyle. Now, yeah, there's a part of buying black just for the sake of black, but it should also be buying black because it's quality. And there is quality black-owned businesses out there. All right. We don't just want to buy black because we're black. But let me ask y'all a question. I know we got some black business owners out here. Are you a black business owner or are you a business that's black? Question. Are you a black business owner or are you a business that's black or black owned? Put your comments in the chat. I would love to hear what you have to say. All right, so Kay Lander says, overall, United One is a good black bank to start with, located in LA, Miami, and other places I cannot think of right now. Okay, all right, cool. So Norma says, Nurse just, so that's your family name. Nurse is your family name. So Nurse, just my family name, but yes, North Carolina Realtor, good to be part of this collective. Yeah, we out here, we trying to make change. We not trying, we are making change. I think some of y'all saw the post I put on my IG the other day that I got from the sister, just kind of bigging me up and giving me encouragement. Because sometimes, I'll be honest, y'all, I run into some crazy situations and be some crazy stuff in my inbox. And then I watch folks follow crazy people. And I mean that in all seriousness. People who aren't educated in whatever field they're talking about, they might have a little bit of a following, but that ain't what they do. That ain't what they true to. And that don't mean people who can't make mistakes. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about people that just intentionally, I got to say intentional at this point, intentionally just give out bad information, intentionally rip people off of their money, intentionally seek to do harm, even though they may position it and say it's for the good of the black community. And I'm really hard on that, and probably not as hard as I should be, because I don't name folks, because I think when you name folks, that then becomes kind of anti-black. I'm not trying to be a philosopher on y'all today, though, just speaking my mind. But we don't have no money to lose in a giveaway to no quick get rich quick schemes. We don't have no money to lose just to give away to somebody just so they can ride around in a Bentley or a car. And listen, everybody's entitled to make money. Everybody's entitled to create value and make money, right? So you in a business and you make a great gumbo, a great pot of stew, and you enjoy it. Yeah, pay that lady, pay that man, pay that business, pay that black-owned business, absolutely. But if they make a trash pot of gumbo soup, and when you say, hey, maybe there's too much salt, there's not enough salt, not enough seasoning, and they're not open to it, and they just treat you poorly, they're not entitled to your money. They're not entitled to your money. We still all have to earn, right? I'll be honest, y'all, a lot of us have entitlement syndrome. We believe somebody owes us something. No, nobody owe you nothing. God bless a child that has its own. So I say all to say to bring up this next point. So I'm riding around in my cyberspace, my social media vehicle, got the top down, and I come across this post. It's a brother, and he's talking about why 401ks are so bad. Now, I've seen the 401k people trash 401ks, excuse me. I've seen people trash 401ks for the last couple of years. And I always ask, what is the alternative? Nobody can ever give anything. And what's crazy to me is when they describe the 401k is they don't even know what it means. They don't even know how it operates. So I saw a brother say 401ks are trash because if the company goes out of business, you lose your 401k. And that is absolutely false. Want to know why it's false? It's false because everybody in the 401k plan actually owns their 401k. It is not the property of the company. That's why you have it in separate accounts. That's why it's held by a custodian, right? We'll talk about custodians more, but custodians basically hold the money, and they hold it in a quote unquote unbiased fashion, or at least it makes it a lot harder for you to be ripped off. And so he said it was owned by the people. And I just shake my head and I guess pull out a little bit of hair that I have left, because yes, my hair still grows, but just not all over my head. And I just ask myself, why do people listen to this? And I know why, because our people perish for lack of knowledge. But I guess for me, it's like, at what point are we going to start flocking to the people who have real track records, real knowledge, real craft, or real commitment to the craft? And listen, by the way, I don't agree with everybody who has commitment to the craft and is knowledgeable either. Right. So this is just my overall thought. You can work with someone else. Let's say it's not me, right? Because I'm the one who's talking about these folks. You can work with someone else who I might not agree with, but they can still be committed to their craft, right? Because at the end of the day, when you look at two different things, you could come up with two different solutions. You can go to one tax advisor / financial advisor, and they might give you one tax solution or one financial plan, and I might look at it and give you a totally different one. And that's cool. And they both can be right. The question will be, are they both right for you? That will be the real determining factor, right? Because y'all know I always talk about there's no bad financial tools. There's just bad financial strategy. But saying that a 401k is owned by the company and you're going to lose your 401k if the company goes out of business, to dissuade you from investing in a 401k, where most 401ks give a match, which is free money, where most 401ks grow their money tax-free. By the way, I feel most tax folks should be very aggressive with the tax code, because that's one way to kind of deliver up your own reparations. But again, that's a whole other conversation. But 401ks give great tax advantages, right? It grows tax-free. It gets people investing and saving when 9 times they won't. 9 times out of 10, the people that have 401ks who don't have great savings habits, who don't have great investment habits, who don't have high financial IQ, who've never really been introduced to financial literacy or education or anything, I have seen them retire as millionaires with 401ks. So it's cool to just kind of talk about one angle of things and kind of give this skewing. But at the other time, you got to really ask yourself, what harm are you doing? What harm are you doing when you put this out there? So one of the things I learned from one of my mentors years ago when I started doing radio is that every time you open the mic, every time that you are on television, you have to be responsible for the words that come out of your mouth. And also my mother drilled into my head, life and death lies in the power of the tongue. It's in Proverbs. I forget what verse and chapter it is, but life and death lies in the power of the tongue. I know words can also start wars and they can create peace. I always want to create peace. I always want to create abundance. And again, are there trash 401ks? Yeah, there are. But if you know how to use them, they can still be great vehicles for you and your pursuits of building wealth. So that's all I got to say about that. Listen, y'all, just be careful about the advice you take and the people you follow, especially out here on these social media streets. A lot of them is trash. Long story short. Trey Snatch. What up, Trey? How you do? What it do? A chocolate chip? All right, but a chocolate chip where? Because in a bowl of milk, a chocolate chip in a bowl of milk. Now, see, I want y'all to see something too, y'all. A lot of times we get our ass on our backs and we don't want to be corrected. Don just corrected me. I have immense respect for Don, and I'm open to that correction because I know it comes in love, right? He ain't on here stunting on me. Don supports all my stuff, supports all the Black Wealth Project stuff, and he just checked me, y'all. He literally just checked me, and I'm cool with it. So Trey Snatch said he's a business that's Black owned. I serve all colors that pay green. Okay. Can you define the difference? Well, Kelly, some people consider themselves a Black business. Now, right, it's a little semantics, but I just want to put that out there for the record. However, there are some people that only consider themselves to be Black and then be doing business. And then some of them kind of follow along with a mentality. So for me, I'll tell y'all, I'm a business that happens to be Black. I can't change that I'm Black. And yes, I'm committed to the Black community. I think that's very clear. But I have clients that are Asian. I have clients that are white. The majority of my clients are Black. Majority of my audience is Black. That's who I talk to. That's who I'm really passionate about. And I'm cool with that. But there are people that come to me because they feel that I'm a master of my craft, whether it be investments or tax, right? They feel that no matter who I'm working with, I'm going to give my all. So I'm going to give my all to whoever my client is. I'm going to give my all to whoever it is. But some people just feel that being Black is enough. To me, I don't want to be the best black business. I want to be the best business, period. So that's how I look at it, Kelly. I'm here to compete. I'm here to do good. And when I say compete, I'm not really competing with my black-owned businesses. And when I say that, so let me back up. I'm competing. I'm always competing. I'm competitive. But what I mean by that is that it's always going to be a friendly competition. It's never going to be me talking about them. Like, y'all see, I don't really talk bad about black folks, right? Because I think there's already enough black on black crime, real black on black crime, not the fake black on black crime that the Republicans and white supremacists support, right? But I don't want to be talking bad about black folks. That gets highlighted enough. I don't want to do that. But, and I refer other black money people all the time. And I don't take clients. So, for example, I had a friend of mine. I've actually had several friends of mine who come to me and they say, Kamari, I want you to do my taxes. I'm having a problem with my accountant. And I'm like, all right, well, tell me about it. And so they tell me about it, and it sounds like it's a miscommunication. A lot of times, right? There's a saying that clients don't always give you all the information. Sometimes you got to dig. We actually have another saying for that, but I'm not going to say that because y'all might think bad of me. But I dug a little deeper. And I said, well, you know what? It sounds like you and that guy have a great relationship. You should go back to him and express your concerns, express your frustrations to them, because many times in the money profession or any business, when you're dealing with somebody, it's very personal. It's very intimate. People tell me stuff that they don't tell their spouses. And I have to kind of be the keeper of secrets. And so when I look at that, it's almost like being married. It's almost like a relationship. Right. And so do you really want to take somebody from someone they have a relationship with to bring them to you? Or do you want to say, you know what? Instead of trying to come get with me, go on back home, make it right, talk it out. Right. And then if that don't work, you can come see me. But, I at least think we have to do that, especially with our black owned businesses, So Judy says she totally agrees. Is it Majiza? Tell me how to pronounce that. I love the spelling of that, by the way. I find that black businesses want white customers, and black customers have no empathy for black-owned businesses. Well, I used to think like that. I'll tell you why, to be totally honest, right? White customers tend to represent a bigger dollar amount, typically, not always, though. Not always. And I'm speaking generally. And a lot of times we have been taught, we have been conditioned to be white, to think white, to dress white, to act white, to go along that. Now, again, that's no shade at anybody. But so for example, it'll be rare if you ever see me in a suit. And if you see me in a suit, you probably won't see me in a tie. I hate ties. I've always hated ties. And I feel that ties are very uncomfortable. Ties, like there was an incident with me and my dad when I was younger, right? He was putting his tie on. I'm pretty sure a lot of the brothers can go with this, right? Tie was so tight, I felt constricted. I felt like I couldn't breathe. From that time, I've always been like, why do people wear ties? And I wore ties because that was the norm. Well, I'm at a place now where I can create my own norm. Just be honest. And as you get older in life, you don't care as much. You're like, this is the value I bring to the table. Be confident in the value that you bring to the table and create your own norm. That's what I do. So again, I might have on a suit. You probably might catch me in a dashiki faster than you find me in a suit, but I might have on a suit, won't have on a tie. I might have a fly kerchief, and I'll rock it like that, but it all depends. All right, so 401ks have always been good to me. That's dope, Wayne. That's what Courtney posted on her Twitter this morning. What did Courtney post on her Twitter this morning? Don't make me go drag it down. Courtney's my sis. Judith says, why I'm a black-owned small business and my business are welcome. Yeah. Well, it's not even about who your target audience is, right? But I mean, yeah, Judy, I definitely get you. Don, what are you saying why to? So check in on these comments on IG as well. Oh, I got some traction on IG today. I normally have like 2 people on IG. People out here don't do their research before talking. I'm a black business owner. I serve people. Black owned and operated. That's what Leo Lady said. VSLP, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Empress, is this a respectable post? Perhaps the question should be, are we black consumers or consumers who are black? But I'm not talking about consumers. I'm talking about black business. You know, consumers are on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to black business. Black businesses are producers. We are investors. We are designers. We are creators. Now, yes, are we producers? Are consumers? Yes, we are, but we are consumers last. We are producers and builders and investors first. All right. All right, so Empress says, white consumers being the largest percentage of America are my best customers. The Wilsons sign guys on 63rd and Haverford taught me that fact early on in my business. Okay. But I also wonder this too, right? Are they your best customers because you haven't really marketed to the black community well enough? And that's a question. That's not an assumption. It's a question. All right, so Norman Realtor says, yep, we have been conditioned to think that white dollar is better. Now we do discriminate amongst ourselves too with our own businesses. Just got to be what you believe in. Yeah, I agree. Okay, Kaizen's on IG now. So Kaizen's watching on IG and YouTube, it looks like. So I appreciate that, Kaizen. Listen, I'm fighting the algorithms, y'all. We're all fighting the algorithm. Support black content creators. Don said that, I think 2 shows ago, and I thought it was very profound, right? Because black content creators are black-owned businesses as well. So support me, support black content creators. Be sure to like, be sure to leave a comment, be sure to share. Those are all the things and the metrics that the algorithm checks for to say, oh, people are actually interested in this guy. So again, that was kind of my rant about the 401k. Listen, if you work a 9-to-5 job and they offer a 401k, please participate if you can. Now, I will say this, there are times that I will recommend a person not do 401k for a short period of time. If you have like 50 cents in your bank account and that's it, I wouldn't start doing 401k right away, because now you're putting all your money into a tax advantage account that if you need the money in an emergency, you will get penalized for, potentially. There's some other ways to work it, but potentially first thing you need to do is get at least $1,000 into your savings. All right. But 9 times out of 10, everybody should be participating in a 401k. Even if it's just to meet the match. So it is 12:30 on the dot, y'all. I've been here. Again, the tax deadline is October 15th for all of those who have filed an extension. Please get that in so you can avoid any penalties and fines that the IRS is going to levy. If you owe the IRS any monies, send them something. Send them $1, send them 100, send them 1,000. Just send them something. Every little bit counts. Why? Because the IRS's interest rates are worse than loan sharks, worse than loan sharks. So get that in. Don't delay. If you get a notice from the IRS, please don't ignore it. Please open it. Please respond, or go see your tax professional that can help you with it. All right. So Empress says, ironically, blacks are just now searching black-owned sign companies online. Yes, black-owned is embedded in my SEO meta tags. I've been marketing to you personally like a jilted lover. I don't know why you're a jilted lover. I've never done anything wrong to you. I've always been good to you, have helped you find people. And you know what? I just remembered I do owe you a cup. So I need a cup. See, this is my Finance Rebel cup. This is the new one with the new logo, but I want a big, ginormous size cup. All right. I don't know if I use this logo or I do have on my or this one, right? Bust it out like Superman. But I'll figure it out. I forget. That is my fault. I can admit that publicly. Diamond Rough 19, thank you for joining. Thank you. But yeah, I don't need no jilted lovers. Jilted lovers become stalkers. And stalkers start doing crazy stuff and they break the law. I don't need no smoke, y'all. I'm trying to be a good black man out here. Just giving my contribution to the community, trying to be impactful as much as possible and leave a good legacy. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. So anybody else got anything before I sign off? It's 12:30. Been rocking with y'all for an hour. I definitely appreciate you all that are here every week. No, I don't want a free mug. So Empress says a free mug, Kamari. All I ask is for your art and address. LOL. So Empress, I don't want a free. I want to pay for it. Right? Listen, free is good. Free is powerful. I tell people that all the time. Free is powerful. Don't be afraid to give away some of your stuff free. Right? Because there is a cost associated to everything. I told my son, and this is some of the best advice I've given my son. He still didn't listen to me. I told my son when he went to trade school to be an electrician, I said, listen, when you get out, because he said he wanted to go into real estate, I said, go out and I'll introduce you to some real estate investors. When you meet them, volunteer your services for free. He looked at me like I was crazy. He never wound up getting into real estate though either. Not yet anyway. But everybody who takes that advice from me, and it's rare that they take the advice, but everybody who takes that advice from me says, wow, that opened doors for me that I probably never could have opened myself. Why? Because listen, business is all about relationships. How is someone going to get to know you? Word of mouth? Yeah, but you don't have anybody referring you word of mouth. And I'm not saying you got to give away the whole farm. I'm not saying you have to do it forever. I'm not saying that free is the only way. But for those who are building their craft, for those who don't have a portfolio, free can be very powerful. Even me, I still do free stuff. I do it for people I want to do it. You can't ask me for free though, but I do it because I believe it's good karma. I want to put good karma in the world. If I see somebody struggling, I do it. There's a sister who was on public assistance who I did a free tax return for, right? Yeah, it cost me some dollars and some time, but I am okay with that, right? If we're always trying to take all the money off the table, we never leave anything. And I also believe that we live in an abundance universe. I have an abundance mindset. So if I give something to somebody, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. Now, again, I'll give you the shirt off my back, the jacket. You can't have my underwear though, y'all. All right. I ain't walking around naked. You know why? Because then they're going to send me to jail for improper exposure. And that's going to cost me more time and money. So point being is I can't give you something that I can't give that's going to cost me more, but I can give something that, can be of great value to you and really not much time or much money to me. Just imagine if us as black folks, as the black community, right, started acting like a community. And instead of when somebody comes over and asks for a cup of sugar, we actually gave them the sugar. And matter of fact, if we see somebody struggling, we say, you know what, we're going to give you a cup of sugar. We're going to give it to you in advance. We're not even going to wait for you to ask. We're not going to wait for you to humble yourself. Nothing wrong with humbling yourself, but there's also something else in being assertive and aggressive when you see somebody in pain, when you see somebody being hurt, And I guess I've just been blessed, y'all. I called my cousin up, who's like my brother. Well, actually, he called me. But I just told him thank you for being a good brother, because he's helped me probably more than just about anybody else in my life. And I felt it was important that I acknowledge him and give him his flowers while he's here. Like 2020 has taught me a lot. I hope 2020 has taught you all a lot. As a community, we've been under attack for over 400 years. But if we don't figure out how to love one another and build strength and unity within our community, even if it's one cup of sugar at a time, we never really going to be able to change anything, y'all. Yes, Diamond Rough, service. Yes, service. If we really don't get about service, our community is going to suffer a lot longer than it needs to. And again, me and Empress, we go back and forth. I'm not going to go into that, but we go back and forth. But we've been rocking for years. Anytime she reaches out to me, she says, Kamari, she needed some mold remediation. I said, I got a guy for you. Another black-owned business. You'd be surprised at how many black people ask me to refer them to black-owned businesses, because I'm always giving them. People were like, why do you do that? Because it makes a stronger community. And yes, a stronger community at the end not right away, but at the end will benefit me, will benefit my children, will benefit my family. It's endless. It's endless, y'all. It's endless. So I see a couple more. I see a couple more comments. So Norman says, NC Realtor says, always good rocking with you, Kamari. See you at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, see me at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Everybody see me at 7 p.m. tomorrow at the Black Wealth Project. You can find that on Facebook, IG, and YouTube. Kaizen says, so true. I'm working on a project now because I offered my skills for free. Yeah, you'd be surprised at what you get when you do stuff for free. They say reciprocity is one of the laws of one of the universal laws. And reciprocity basically is when you do something for somebody, it'll come back tenfold, or they want to do something for you in return. So I love trades. Men like your son are balling on Craigslist. They were very helpful when I made my first rental property investment. They were better than commercial companies by far. Yeah, I believe that. You got to be careful with Craigslist though. But yeah, they're definitely good people on Craigslist. Yes, NC Realtor, present value first, intentionally, lesson learned. Yes, absolutely, intentionally. Kaizen Investor says you don't need the money up front. I'm benefited financially now off of something I did for free. Yeah, it's amazing, y'all. It's amazing. Asher Levens, how are you? I hope I'm saying your name right. So Empress says, I learned never cut corners and never open your business doors until the shelves are fully stocked. Word of mouth is everything. Yep. Well, the fully stocked, we can go back and forth on that, but I get your point though. And I'm not disagreeing. Mr. Buckets, I hope I said it right. Grand Rising to you too, King. Thank you. Mark Shadley, our friend, cut to me. Yeah, but we not naming folks. I've sent you other people's. I sent you Steve Young to do the mold remediation. I told you I don't out people. And yes, I was hurt by that, but I don't out people. Some things we got to keep to ourselves, y'all. We don't need to keep promoting negative narratives. So, all right, folks, that's all I got today. Listen, if you have any topics, any questions, anything that you want me to go over in my upcoming broadcast, feel free to slide up in my DM or inbox me on Facebook or Instagram. Again, I appreciate you all. I'm thankful for you all, and I'm honored by you all that you all take a bit of time out of your day to spend it with me. So I'll be back soon. Remember, keep working on your financial IQ. Read a book, read an article, and let me know what you read. All right. So have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you all. Have a great